we shall be good. Should I do a poll? Let's do a poll. What should the poll be? Oh, I have to go all the way weird. Yes. No. Done. Make it a little bit smaller. Put it right here. Start poll. Okay. Hi, Vincent. Hi, Vincent. Axel, you're gonna end up exiting out of the screen for me, which I would not like. Come here. Is this a cute little setup? Don't think that you're gonna come up here. Come here. I got a cough. I was able to hold it back. Okay. I'm just gonna get started, okay, everybody? Now, I'm going to be doing a test. I've only done this test once. Or any political typology test I've only done once. And the only time I've ever done it is... Maybe I've done it twice, but I don't remember the second time I did it. But the first time I did it was in high school in my government class. So that was at senior year. It must have been senior year. And I feel like now that I'm older, I will probably be even more leftist than before. But even before, I was actually very much in there's 4 squares or 4 quadrants. I remember being at the very bottom left corner. Not the very, very bottom left, but like very much so. I think probably more than anybody else in my class, maybe even in my grade. Because I grew up in North Dakota. Hi, noob. Hi, red official. Why you sad? Axel, do you need your own laptop? Kat, do you know this? This laptop we have, when I moved here, I had a different laptop. That's also why I have, like, if you've ever seen me in my living room, there's like a barricade around my computer and it's elevated on this stand. My cat is the one that broke my other laptop. So that's why we had to get this one, because he stepped on, completely smashed, and broke that laptop. And he still, when we got this one, would try to get on it. So that's why we have like barricaded around there, because he goes up on the table where the laptop is. So we have to barricade it so he doesn't go up there. And sometimes he still even tries to. But on the rare occasion, I'll try and go over there, like I'll catch him trying to go on the keyboard. I'm like, no, not for you. But yeah, we're gonna get started with this, everybody. I gotta clear my throat. I just had lunch. Usually I have pickles with lunch, but I didn't want to just put like, because pickles have salt, you know, so I do a couple spears and I have that with my lunch. Or else I won't like have barely any salt with my lunch, and you need salt. Most of my salt comes from my supper, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is what it is. Like half of it. But the reason why I bring that up is because I'm out of pickles and I don't want to go to the store. I'll just wait until this weekend. I don't want to just put salt on it, so I've been putting hot sauce on my green beans and lentils, and I'm not used to doing that. Usually if I have my hot sauce, I put it on my sandwich at night, and so like I can tell it's causing some phlegm. I'm always phlegmy after lunch though, so who am I kidding? But that's also because I eat dark chocolate. Anyway, you can't understand a single word I'm whispering, is slobbering on my fingers. Okay. Kat, I want to know if you ever done one of these tests. Are you one of the yeses or? Anyway, I am going to get started. So, page 1 of 6, I'm doing politicalcompass.org. This is a test I did in high school as well. And if I did it a second time, but I don't remember, then I likely did this same website. Okay, so test. My cat is chewing. Hey. Axel, behave. Here, come see the people. Come see the people. Okay, page 1 of 6. Just a few propositions to start with concerning, no less, how you see the country and the world. If economic, oh god, that's probably I'm not gonna know what some of this means. I'm not the smartest person, especially since my concussion. Okay, it's hard for me to like learn new concepts or words. I'm always like, even today, I don't even remember what word it was, but I looked up multiple different words. Where I'm like, I know them. I've looked up this word so many times, but I can't remember. It just doesn't compute. I'm a visual person, not a words person or a name person. Hi, Axel. That was too artificial. I am not, at least not that I recall. If I ever did, okay. Okay. Question 1. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. Oh, you're talking about like first world order stuff. Everybody's on the same economy. But isn't the reason why economies, well, some economies thrive, some don't. I was gonna say, isn't the purpose of having different economies so that it's a good flow, but I don't think that's how it works. I don't know if a globalization would make sense though, because of like everybody across the world is so different. So I don't, okay, but if it is inevitable, yeah, it should serve humanity rather than transnational corporations. Strongly agree. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. Strongly disagree. No one chooses their country at birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. I disagree. Well, no. Well, what? Yeah. It's foolish to be proud. I disagree. It's okay to be proud of your country if your country does good things, but I don't think you should put your country on a pedestal. And I don't think you should be proud of your country just for the mere fact that you're born there. But it's okay to be proud of your country. I think of Portugal a lot. Portugal, sometimes they miss the mark, right? But they do a lot of good stuff. So it's okay to have moments of being proud. As a whole, though, I don't know about that. But so I disagree. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Well, I strongly disagree. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Oh god, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Probably, so I'm gonna say agree. Because it's like probably the enemy, they're enemies. Probably we are both enemies of the same person or institution for a similar reason, I imagine. Sorry, it's all loud. I have to like reach over to try and pause. I'm just going to you. Thank you, Kat. Yes, Kat says everybody, like, consider participating in the poll. That helps a lot, participating in the poll. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. That defies international law, strongly disagree. There's now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Strongly agree. There's so many ads on this, I hope I don't click one back. Okay, now the economy. We're talking attitudes here, not the FTSE index. I don't know what that is. The financial something, I don't know. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. I agree. I'm not gonna say strongly agree though, just because there's so many races. Sorry, let me mute it. Okay. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Oh god, they go hand in hand though. They go hand in hand. and social organization had substantially eliminated the need for power and labor, where labor has become not only a means of life, but life's prime want. In such a society, each person would be motivated to work for the good of society, despite the absence of a social mechanism compelling them to work, because work would have become a pleasurable and creative activity. I need to go somewhere else. I'm a little bit confused. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. 𝒂𝒃𝒐jmethod.com, sure. It emphasizes the idea, it is a core principle of communism. It emphasizes the idea that in a well-functioning society, individuals should contribute based on their abilities and receive resources based on their needs. Okay, that's all I need to know. Yes, people should do what they feel that all that they can do, and then people should, if they need things to do certain things, then they should have access. Yeah. So based off of what this is saying, is a fundamentally it's a good idea. I would say strongly agree. The freer the market, the freer the people. I don't know much about what a free market, economics and financial stuff confuses the heck out of me to no end. It is so confusing to me. Like, I don't know how to explain to you. It's like how some people don't understand math. Like anything involving like loans, insurance, any of that, like financial stuff, and like I don't know what a free market is. All this in one ear out the other. I've looked this up before. I know I have. I at my core, I cannot understand these things. That's why I don't talk about the free market, because I don't even know what it is. No, Twinkle actually just started. SCPN, I'm doing a test today, so I'm not able to do an anticipatory ASMR except for that. Are you okay? In economics, a free market is an economic system in which the prices of goods and services are determined by supply and demand expressed by sellers and buyers. It's determined by the interactions of, sorry y'all, I think it's because when I'm on screens for too long, or like the computer especially, for some reason it makes my facial tics get pretty bad, so I'm sorry if you see me like twitching my eyes around quite a bit. Also, spicy food I think does that too, inevitably, but yeah. So my hot sauce, anyway. The prices of goods and services are determined by the interactions of buyers and sellers without external control from the government or other authorities. Key characteristics of a free market include voluntary exchange, competition, and supply and demand. So voluntary exchange, transactions occur freely between buyers and sellers where both parties agree on the price and the terms of the exchange. Competition, multiple sellers compete to attract customers, which helps to regulate prices and improve quality. Supply and demand, prices are set based on the availability of goods and the desire of consumers to purchase them. It requires that businesses compete for consumers' businesses. If there's only one business in a particular industry, that business has a monopoly and does not operate in a free market. It functions in the opposite manner as a command economy works, where the central government gets to keep the profits and choose how to use them. Ooh. Okay. But advantages: promotes economic efficiency and innovation, provides consumers with a variety of choices, encourages competition, which can lead to better quality products and services. Okay. Disadvantages can lead to income inequality and market monopolies if left unchecked. May not adequately address public goods and externalities such as environmental concerns. Overall, the concept of a free market is central to many economic theories and practices, emphasizing the importance of minimal government intervention and the role of individual choice in economic decision-making. Understanding how free markets operate can provide valuable insights into broader economic policies and their implications for society. No modern country operates with completely uninhibited free markets. I really don't, I don't know. I don't know. Should there be a lot of government oversight in markets? Oh God, I'm so confused. Let me look at free market. Something that pops up is free market capitalism. I'm sorry, but apparently, I'm so confused because I'm trying to look up, like, politically, what people prefer, like Democrats versus Republicans in America, who prefers the free market, and I'm just getting mixed information, because I know Republicans prefer less government overreach, but then it's like lately they're kind of going back on that. I don't know. But then it's saying Democrats like a free market. I just don't. In a truly free market, you would be able to buy and sell humans without government intervention. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like at least some government intervention is necessary so that there's not, you don't just sell anything. Because then wouldn't that link to the black market? I'm so sorry if I'm not sounding very smart right now. The freer the market, the freer the people. It's hard. Because like, I'm not somebody who is saying we should always have government regulation for everything or completely no regulation. I think there needs to be a balance. So the freer the market, it makes me think of like crypto. I think that needs to be regulated, or else the pump and dump schemes keep happening. I've been on this question for a long time, so I'm sorry. For this question, it still confuses me. Is it okay? Do I think it's good to have government regulation? But then I feel like if you have government regulation, wouldn't it prevent, what am I trying to say? Wouldn't it prevent companies from I can't compute right now. Wouldn't, if there's government regulation, let me know what y'all think, because I give myself the ability to change my opinion, okay? Especially on this question. If there's more government regulation, wouldn't that prevent? I'm trying to think of how to say this. Like, my mind is drawing a blank. I don't know how. Okay, what am I trying to say? If there's more government intervention for companies and businesses, that means if they're doing shady practices, wouldn't that be good to have these government regulations? I don't know. I'm just gonna say the freer the market, the freer the people. I disagree. Okay. There goes sleep. creative expression would be cool for people to like customize their own homes. Does that mean that they can just customize and spend money on customizing their homes? But should it be a commodity to be bought and sold? Okay, so the question is, land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. Honestly, I agree, because I think basic necessities should honestly be free. And then anything else extra you want to do to like your home, you can do that. Also, it makes me think of like there's so many natural resources that keep getting bulldozed over, and I feel like we don't need to continuously be doing that. We could just have affordable housing. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. Strongly agree. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. I don't know what that is. Protectionism. What does that mean? It refers to government policies that restrict international trade to support domestic industries, often through tariffs, quotas, and subsidies. Is it sometimes necessary in trade? Perfectionism in trade. Is it economic policy aimed at shielding domestic industries from foreign competition? Yeah, through tariffs, quotas, and subsidies. It restricts international trade to help domestic industries. Okay, I feel like my initial instincts with this, I don't want people to take this the wrong way. The tariffs exist in America right now are bad. But do I think it's sometimes necessary in trade? Here's the thing. I think there should be more, like for example, I live in America. I think there should be more American-owned and operated businesses, but it is too expensive for people to try and start their businesses here. So I don't know what the solution is to get there to be more American-run businesses where it's not going to be like skyrocketing prices. But this is because in modern history, we in America, we have sent companies, businesses overseas because it has been cheaper. So now we are already in this world that we exist in where it's cheaper to outsource from overseas or from other places in the world. But do I think it's sometimes necessary in trade? Oh God, this is a loaded question, because I don't think that means you should suddenly just drop major tariffs. I think first what we need to do in America, at least I can speak from as an American, we should start building companies and businesses more in America and like provide more money for businesses that are just starting out and make it more affordable. Maybe lowering taxes for self-employed individuals, but upping the taxes for billionaires. And then eventually we'll be able to not have to outsource from other places. But do I think are tariffs necessary? Sometimes I'll say agree, okay, but after I said all that, the only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver profit to its shareholders. Strongly disagree. The rich are too highly taxed. Strongly disagree. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Oh God. I know that even in countries where, here, I'm gonna read comments. Why would outsourcing be bad? It makes me think about one of the things I think about where I'm literally watching a documentary right now about climate change, and it makes me think about how all the transportation of goods, especially if it's like overseas, it's really bad for the environment. Also, it just makes me think that we should, I'm not saying it's inherently a bad thing, but I think if we want people to start their own businesses and to be self-efficient here, then we shouldn't always have to rely on outsourcing because it's cheaper elsewhere. We should provide more opportunities for it to not be so expensive to self-sustain here. I am is this? This is me doing a test. Yes, there's plenty of American companies that are also in other countries. Even like Americans started companies that are now based in other countries because it's cheaper for operations. Child soldier, thank you. I upload every Thursdays, and I'm actually gonna start uploading on Sundays and Thursdays for the other channel. So I'm actually right after this gonna film that video, and that will be uploaded or published on Sunday. So keep an eye out for that. Okay. Those with the ability to pay should have higher. Okay, I was gonna say, I know that in other countries you can get free healthcare, free access to hospitals, medical care. But there are people, if you pay more, you can like skip lines. But I think everybody should have access to high standards of medical care. So I strongly disagree. Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Strongly agree. A genuine free market requires, oh god, not the free market again, y'all. More expensive right now for people that business. Yes, that's the thing, Twinkle. It's not as much about if you have businesses overseas. It's not about that. Tariffs are about more so goods coming in and out. So it's not about businesses overseas as much as, let's say you order a shipment of a bulk shipment from China. Now there's Trump recently eased those tariffs, and they made a deal with China. But before, it's like there was an increase on the tax that people have to pay. If I'm an American, I import goods from China, let's say, a week ago. Let's say this was a week ago. There's a higher price now, a higher cost suddenly like that. I have to pay that extra cost. So then because of that, I have to up the prices to people who I'm trying to sell to for this good or this product. And so now me trying to sell it, I have to up the price, so then people are not able to afford as much. So it's not as much about businesses overseas, it's about products coming in to America. People have to pay a tax. The tariff affects the people who are purchasing that good. And I also think America has a really good economy as well as our small business here, among some other environmental issues. See, that's exactly where I'm at with that cat. Like, and I think this is again something that has to happen all the time. It's like, it makes me think of the oil industry. People think that certain American politicians want to get, or like environmentalists want to get rid of oil like that. It's not about getting, because people are like, what about also the job economy? And that's understandable. I was just thinking about this earlier. I think what we could do is we could provide funds like for 4 years minimum for people, the salary they would have gotten through their work, maybe even extra, and then also an additional amount if people decide during that time, that 4 years, that they want to go to college for something else, or maybe they didn't go to college before, so this gives them the opportunity to go to college, to have the learn, or like even trade school, so then people can have, it will eventually help, because then we're helping the environment later on. If I was thinking about like solar panel, I don't know, solar panel energy and all that goes into that, but if people go to college, if you have to go to college for that, or trade school, providing funds as well as the amount they would have made if people were in the oil field, to help people if they want to like go to trade school, go to college, or do something like it's still in the energy sector, so then they can go back to the workforce and do something that's actually better for the environment. That's, see, I want my taxpayer money to go for stuff like that, not for upping the wages for ICE or for the police. Okay, I was thinking about that earlier. But yeah. Yes, exactly, Twinkle, exactly. It's when you have to like pay extra. It's because of the import tax. I believe you have to pay that. But yeah, so outsourcing, I think, doesn't have to be bad. Like, there's some things in other countries, but also it can be bad when we extract certain goods from other places in the world. Or it's like, I think of gold, right? Where we find Western countries of Africa as well as like in the Philippines. And it's like these people there have less access to certain goods, like cocoa or gold. But then it's like people in America are able to get these goods. So it's like, I think it can be good to outsource, but also I think it relates to colonialism as well, where we take the goods, especially natural goods, from people in their countries or in their cities, and then they don't even have access to them because people who can afford it, like Americans, are extracting them. So anyway, a genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. I think strongly agree. If I'm reading it correctly, I feel like it's phrased weird, but if I'm reading it correctly, I strongly agree. Okay, we're gonna be done with economy. Oh my god, okay, social values. I should go right through these. Okay. Hi, Riley. Yes, exactly, Twinkle. See, 21%. That's like an import tax that you have to pay. Exactly. I feel like we outsource a lot in the Netherlands, so there aren't that many issues with it here. So why wouldn't that work for America? Is it really just more expensive for you guys to import? It's because it causes for people selling those goods to up the price. All it does is hurt the people in America. If we are struggling right now, and we struggle even more because of rising costs, like suddenly that are like that on the rise, how are people even supposed to support themselves if they want to have a small business? You know, all the time in my area, there's local businesses closing down, even if I feel like they're doing really good business. So it's really hard. And it makes me think of, people who import like food ingredients from other places, the import tax. So people can't afford it. Anyway, so people already can't afford living. It's then even basic things like food and water, sometimes water, depending on where you live, and like shelter, rent, all that. For some reason, rent is actually a whole different thing. That's just, no. Okay, abortion when the woman's life is not threatened should always be illegal. Strongly disagree. All authority should be questioned. Strongly agree. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. An eye for an eye. I strongly disagree. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Strongly disagree. I'd actually love to work in a museum. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Okay, y'all. This might be an unpopular opinion. I was actually just thinking about this today and yesterday. This might be unpopular. I agree. I strongly agree with this. Because stuff happens. Okay? And it makes me think too, sometimes people are just not. It makes me think of like some people who are sick for like a long period of time, and then they have to retake a grade because they had like pneumonia for 2 weeks, and even if they got a doctor's note, it's like they still get penalized. Anyway, I don't think it should be. I don't know if I should say strongly agree. I say agree. I agree because I think crap happens, and I think classroom attendance policies actually most impact marginalized communities. It makes me think of people who have to maybe take care of their younger siblings or their family. I don't know. I know that is an unpopular opinion. I don't think we should force it though. And then like there's parents who end up imprisoned because their kids aren't going to school. Like what if you try to get your kid to go to school and they just like don't show up, and then the parent gets in trouble? I don't know. I obviously think kids should go to school, but I think it shouldn't be compulsory. People have their rights, but it is better for. I think, you know what though, if you have a good attendance, I think you should get rewarded. Like maybe at the end of the year you get like $500 college credit, and even if you never go to college, college, it's like if all that adds up, it could still help you when you move out. Does that make sense? So I think there should be an incentive, not a punishment. Okay. I believe between our size and just the way things are here, mentality makes it a bigger issue than in some other parts of the world. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do that. Thank you, Azul. Where's big issue? I think overconsumption is a big issue everywhere that is more developed, but especially in America. So, yeah. Okay. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. What? Different sorts of people should keep to their own kind? No, I strongly disagree. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Strongly disagree. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Strongly agree. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Strongly agree. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. To equip the future generation to find jobs. I don't think that's all. Should that be the prime function of schooling? I actually disagree, because I think there's a lot of life skills that are important to learn that even parents don't know how to teach their children, or they don't know themselves, such as taxes, right? You don't have to learn about taxes to be a tax consultant or an accountant. So I disagree. I think there's a lot of ways to educate without... I think that is a main function, but it shouldn't be the only prime function, you know? People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Oh, this is a good question for me, because I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is more and more with research. They're trying to find the genetic link through different research and studies, although it's still not technically classified as genetic. It is. So I likely got it from either my mother or father. I first thought it was through my dad's side, but now I'm like, I don't know, it could be through my mom's side. Who knows, maybe even both. But, I strongly disagree with this, I will say. But there was a point in time when I started going through the beginning stages of my chronic illnesses where I unfortunately thought that, also paired with me not wanting kids myself, but I think anybody should be allowed the freedom to reproduce. The most important thing for children, even though I don't even want kids myself, the most important thing for children is to learn to accept, because that's eugenics. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. Strongly disagree. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. I don't know if I'd agree with that. I don't like the term savage for it though, because that has like racist undertones. But like, it's civilized by savage. Because of the way this is worded, I'm going to say disagree. But I will say, just because something is a part of one's culture does not mean it is okay. Does not mean that it is admirable. Does not mean that it is something that should be ignored and just accepted. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society support. Oh my god, I hate this phrasing. So Twinkle, do you think that if I have chronic illnesses myself, do you think that, or like let's say my sister's partner, both of his parents have had cancer more than once, do you think that that means that they shouldn't have had kids? For me, do you think that my parents shouldn't have had kids? My dad is also type 1 diabetic, which is more linked to, it's autoimmune, and so I think it's more linked to genetics. I'm not quite certain, but, you know, do you think that like for me with my chronic illnesses, I have MCAS, POTS, and I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Do you think then that somebody like me should have kids? And do you think so? If you think it depends on the illness, do you think that means that somebody with like an illness that has less symptoms, if people have less symptoms with this kind of illness versus this type of chronic illness, do you think that if we only allowed for this person over here, do you think that makes it unfair and like we're highlighting that this person is better than this person because of that? I'm not saying this is an attack, by the way. I'm just saying, like, I'd like to know your thoughts on that if you wanted to explain more. Baby, I am not. Yeah, there's so much you have to throw away. Oh, victim of overconsumption. Andrea, I am pretty good. But yeah, it reminds me of, I don't know, it's just like this person is like, it almost makes the other person with like more severe symptoms seem more like bad because we're not allowing them the opportunity. It's like we're restricting their freedom. That's just my thought though. But yeah, those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society support. I hate the way this is phrased. And what do you mean they refuse the opportunity? And they refuse the opportunity. And they refuse the opportunity. And most people do not refuse the opportunity to work. What do you mean refuse? I'm just gonna say disagree. When you are troubled, it's better to not think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. I strongly disagree. First-generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within our new country. Strongly disagree. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for us. Strongly disagree. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Strongly disagree. Page 4 of 6. This is about how I see the wider society. That's okay, Blair Witch. Hi. Hi, Fishhead. Growing up. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But also, I will argue, there are so many people who are, quote unquote, like, or who don't have any developmental disabilities or physical handicaps or disabilities, who do not, I believe, deserve to be parents because they are just awful people. So, I think people have the right to have kids, but there's so many awful people who are having kids all the time. Especially, like, there's so many, if you see the big families, a lot of times it's big conservative families, the conservative families that are having a lot of children, which I just don't agree with. Need help with daily tasks, though. Yeah, I don't really know how to like argue that. I understand what you're saying, though. Yeah. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Oh, my eye is bothering me so bad. Okay. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. What is that? Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counter. Let me make sure I'm understanding. Counterterrorism encompasses the strategies, tactics, and practices employed by governments and organizations to combat and prevent terrorism and violent extremism. disagree. I strongly disagree. It's okay for there to be delays if it means bettering society. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. I strongly disagree. The death penalty, oh god, should be an option for the most serious crimes. Now, when I was much younger, like growing up, one of the issues that I was the most passionate about was the death penalty. I strongly disagree. I don't think the death penalty should be an option. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. Ew. Strongly disagree. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Strongly disagree. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. I strongly disagree. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. I disagree. Even if people have like sociopathy and narcissism and they've committed the most awful crimes, I don't think we should focus on the punishment aspect of it. Like, people already punished by being maybe imprisoned their whole lives. I think it's still worth trying, is what I'm saying. The business person and the manufacturer, also not all sociopaths and narcissists, commit awful crimes, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Strongly disagree. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Strongly disagree. Almost all politicians promise economic growth, but we should heed the warnings of climate science that growth is detrimental to our efforts to curb global warming. Making peace with establishment is an important aspect of maturity. The establishment. Strongly disagree on that one. Okay. Almost all politicians, like y'all, whenever I would have to read long excerpts for like in English class or something, read long excerpts before answering, I would have to read the thing over and over again because it's too much at once. Almost all politicians promise economic growth, but we should heed the warnings of climate science that growth is detrimental to our efforts to curb global warming. I strongly agree. If I was interpreting that correctly. Okay. Let's do this. Thank you, Fishhead. Hi, Leo. Okay, page 5 to 6. If you go through that, if you got through that, okay, you'll find these propositions on religion and praise, all great. Astrology accurately explains many things. I strongly agree, and I'm leaving it at that. My first tattoo before I was even much into astrology. You cannot be moral without being religious. Strongly disagree. Charity is better than social security. How does astrology relate to religion? Anyway, charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. Some people are naturally unlucky. I strongly agree. It's important that my child's school instills religious values. Strongly disagree. Okay. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. I think social security is necessary. So I'm saying disagree. Charity is important, but there's only so much funds that you can raise from the public. Social security is like one second, let me make sure. Security is taxpayer funded. Through employment, so like through wages. So I disagree because I think this is something that's more automatic. Social Security, so I think that's important to have that in place. Charity is still important though, so that's why I'm not saying strongly disagree. Okay, next page, final page. Finally, I'll look at sex. Oh great, sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Strongly disagree. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Strongly agree. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be illegal for the adult population. Agree. But I think there needs to, I don't know if I want to say that pornography should be regulated, but it should be. Because so many, there's been CP found on these adult websites. So I think it should be legal. But I think maybe we should have more. I think there should be like free resources that depict healthy sex and sexual relationships. So I think we should do better with that, but you know. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. I strongly agree for the most part. No one can feel naturally homosexual. Strongly disagree. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. Strongly disagree. Now let's see where I stand. Alright. Interesting. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. Wait, where am I at then? Okay, yep. Yep, this is actually about. Let me think. This is honestly about where I was when I took it in high school, actually, so that's really cool. Let me show you. Are y'all ready to see it? Here it is. Here it is. I'm gonna take a picture real quick. This is what it is. Your political compass. Negative 8.88 to the left. And social libertarian. Rational negative 7.28. This is honestly around how it was in high school. Maybe just slightly more. Like here maybe is where it was at. But now it's here. So I am not surprised by that. Yeah, I thought it would be in this bracket, so it's still within. Let's see. So just saying you can print it out. Here is yeah, so up and down is the social scale. This is the economic scale. So economic scale over here to the left, and then also social scale down to the left. They used to have like celebrities on here, I feel like, where they were. What? How is Switzerland all the way over here? How? Interesting. North Korea is way over here. China, Saudi Arabia, Singapore. There's nobody over here, which I'm actually kind of surprised by. Of course, this shows up for me. I took that not that long ago. I thought there used to be like celebrities that were on here. Why do these keep showing up? Free quiz games. Okay. I'm gonna. Oh. Only 4 of y'all are watching. example. So Elizabeth Warren is right there, I believe, is what that is, and then Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is right here, so I'm way over here compared to Bernie Sanders being right here, so I'm much more far left than him. Even up here we have Biden over here, so Biden and Harris are more on the authoritarian side. Cory Booker's over here. Mike Pence is way over here. How is Mike Pence above Trump? How does that make sense? But yeah, Warren is right here. Sanders is right here, and I'm way over here in this corner. Yeah. Just as an example. I think oh yeah, I want to go to that. This is what somebody no, okay, that's just that wouldn't be just like what other people are placing in these charts. I'm trying to see. Who else is on here. It looks like the person who I would be closest to based off of just this chart would be who's Noah Chomsky. I've heard that name before. Noah Chomsky. Who is that? Who is Noah Chomsky? An American linguist and activist. Okay. An American professor and public intellectual known for his work in linguistics, political activism, and social criticism. What exactly is linguistics? Is that the study of language? Or maybe not. Linguistics is the study of language, okay, and its structure, including the study of morphology, syntax, phonetics, and semantics. He remains a leading critic of U.S. foreign policy, contemporary capitalism, U.S. involvement in Israel's role in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and mass media. Yeah. See, I've heard of him before, I just don't know much about. Maybe I've heard of this. I saw him talk about him before. I don't remember. He's still alive. Oh no, he died. Oh no, he's still alive. He was born in Pennsylvania in December of 1928. So his birthday is coming up, and then he'll be 97. So Noah Chomsky's maybe who I'm the most like. After that, it would be maybe the Dalai Lama, based off of what's on here. But based off of this chart, it's showing like Obama and Clinton and all them are in the upper right quadrant. That's the thing. I think a lot of leftist politicians or like Democratic politicians we've had are actually a lot more like in other parts of the world they'd be considered right wing. So interesting. I don't know if there's anything else to really say about that. But yeah, I'm not surprised. sorry to hear that, William. So, I'm actually surprised more people have taken a test like this than I thought.